The name of our lesson, the book of Revelation revealed, part 3. In part 1 and part 2 of our study on the book of Revelation revealed, we have made it clearly known some of the trials and tribulations that we, as Hebrew Israelites, the sons and daughters of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, are facing in these last days. We have been forewarned by the Most High of the first 7 plagues to come that are called 7 trumpets, which will serve the purpose of warning the entire world of the beginning of the last 7 years of the time of the Gentile rulership on this earth, and the glorious second coming of our beloved and holy Messiah, the King of the Hebrews, Yahushua HaMashiach. We also studied intently the last 7 plagues that the Most High will unleash upon the wicked in the last 3.5 years of the 7-year tribulation period, known as the 7 bowl judgments, that will punish all those who pledge their allegiance to the satanic leader who emerges from the rebuilt temple in Jerusalem and boldly declares that he is God, and that every man, woman, and child on earth must bow down and worship him or be killed by public decapitation. He will be the Antichrist, Mr. 666, the unquestioned leader of the New World Order that is here on this earth right now, and whose leaders have given themselves over to the devil, and who have been working in the background using advanced technologies to deceive the whole world into believing that their boy, Mr. 666, is God. In part 3 of our lesson this Shabbat, we will snatch the draws off these workers of iniquity and expose some of the techniques they are now perfecting upon an unsuspecting public. For there will be a holographic show created by the Illuminati to help launch the New World Order and the unveiling of the final one world rulership of Gentile heathens on this earth. Let all those who have eyes that can see, see. And let all those who have ears that can hear, hear. For the time is at hand. You are about to see how the wicked ones are preparing for the light show in the skies that will deceive many. And you are about to hear some of the man-made horrible noises that have been created and will be used by our adversaries in their vain attempts to get you to bow down to their master. For I blow the trumpet in Zion and once again warn my people. I want you to look at how these heathens can project a beam of light into the sky in the shape of a spinning wheel that can make those that see it scream hysterically because they think they are witnessing something that is supernatural. What they will be seeing is the devil in the skies. Project Bluebeam that will help usher in what they call the age of Aquarius. But what we call the final 3.5 years of the tribulation period of the New World Order. See how they are perfecting the use of advanced holograms and are now using them all over the world as they perfect the techniques that they will use with 3-dimensional holograms to deceive many. You are about to see a couple of leaked documents proving the existence of this diabolical program of the Antichrist, Project Bluebeam. I want you Israelites to pay close attention to what you are about to see and hear as we uncover more of the mysteries of our adversaries that are being used in this spiritual war that we are in these last days. If I have you Hebrews permission to proceed, put a 3 up in this room, please. If you're scared, now's the time for you to exit stage left. Toda Rabbah.
You are now ready to join the world of piracy and capitalism. If you die, you will be cloned back to life. Let's get ready to fight. The acceleration gate needs to be activated before continuing. At this point, you must be craving more excitement. I have just the thing for you. I can't let you do that, dear.
And that was one of the techniques.
Waterboarding was one of the techniques.
And was it used on Zebeda?
It was.
And was it successful?
It was.
What happened as a result of that?
He resisted. He was able to withstand the waterboarding for quite some time, and by that I mean probably 30, 35 seconds.
That's quite some time.
Which was quite some time. And a short time afterwards, in the next day or so, he told his interrogator that Allah had visited him in his cell during the night and told him to cooperate because his cooperation would make it easier on the other brothers who had been captured. And from that day on, he answered every question just like I'm sitting here speaking.
Good morning. My name is Carol Rosen. In 1974, after being a sixth grade school teacher, I was introduced to the late Dr. Wernher von Braun, in the U.S., the father of rocketry. In my first meeting with him, during that first 3.5 hours, he said to me, "Carol, you will stop the weaponization of space." And I said, you know, teachers don't stop until June. He said, "No, you have to understand. This is February, and we have to prevent the weaponization of space because there is a lie being told to everyone that the weaponization of space is now first being based upon the evil empire, the Russians. There are many enemies," he said, "against whom we're going to build this space-based weapon system, the first of whom was the Russians, which was existing at that time. Then there would be terrorists. Then there would be third world countries. Now we call them rogue nations or nations of concern. Then there would be asteroids." And then he would repeat to me over and over, "And the last card, the last card, the last card would be the extraterrestrial threat." Well, at the time, I kind of laughed when he said asteroids, and when he said extraterrestrials, I knew I wasn't going to deal with that subject. And now we hear on the news just today, this week, that they've slid in another enemy. Only this time we're going to protect our satellites. In other words, we have to have some reason to spend these trillions, to waste these dollars on a space-based weapon system, and they're all lies.
Did y'all see the turning wheel in the sky that had that heathen woman screaming like the world was coming to an end? Did you witness, you Hebrews, the ghost-like 3D image on the catwalk at that fashion show? They can even make these lifelike images talk and have a conversation with you using a computer matrix program. They cited in this video how the beast will forcibly merge the religions of the world into a one world religion, using fake artifacts and relics, and by using the HARP weather control device to create earthquakes at precise locations around the planet. They showed that the beast system will use a gigantic space show wherein 3D, three-dimensional hologram laser projections will be beamed all over the world to show the power of the beast, which will deceive billions. These lifelike holograms and strange lights being seen in the skies all over the world is our enemies practicing and perfecting this tool of the Antichrist. If there's anybody in this room that understood what I just said, put a 7 up in her. All of these strange lights flashing across the skies all over the world, and strange ghost-like apparitions appearing before people, scaring the living daylights out of them. These are our enemies actually practicing and perfecting the techniques that they will unleash. Todah. Demonic forces of the devil will use the technology they have given mankind to make the world believe that aliens from outer space are about to attack every major city, which will cause chaos to break out worldwide and force mankind to look for the New World Order and its leader, Mr. 666, to save them. Many will be deceived, Zion. Now check this. Many people will start disappearing, making Christians think that a rapture has occurred. But no, player. It's just another trick up the sleeve of the devil, using their so-called UFO abduction devices that they have already been using on those people you see on supermarket tabloid magazines hollering they were abducted by aliens. Every other week, you see some heathen on one of them supermarket tabloids. I was grabbed by aliens. They were little green men about 2 foot tall. They were ramming things up my rear end and taking my temperature. Then they let me down behind 7-Eleven. I went home, and I'm telling you. Yeah, they was abducted, all right, and served up a good dose of mind control so that they could tell a tale. So people will have condition in their minds that these things could possibly happen. The heathens have also created various so-called alien spaceships that will fly through the sky to help convince the world that what they are seeing with their lying eyes is actually happening. And here in the United States of America, in Area 51, a remote military outpost out in Nevada, which is the most famous secret military installation in the world, many of these so-called quote-unquote alien spaceships are being created and test flown. And if any of y'all know anything about Area 51, if you come anywhere near trying to cross their restricted zones, they will show up with so many submachine guns and tasers to stop you in your tracks, it ain't even funny. For these things are not supposed to be unveiled unto the public until the appointed time. So all those movies that Hollywood make, starring Will Smith, Independence Day, all these movies coming out showing the alien invasion and how mankind got to pull together to be able to survive. Trust me when I tell you, mind control is at work. And they will deceive billions of people and make them seek the protection of the damn fool who is putting on this spectacular worldwide sky show, the Antichrist himself. And billions of people will fall for it and take the mark of the beast in allegiance to the leader of the New World Order. Again, let me reiterate. This is why alien spaceships are being sighted all over the world, you Hebrews. They are conditioning the minds of the people of the world for what is to come. these various movies of alien attacks from outer space are helping to prepare the way of the man of sin, the little horn of Daniel chapter 7, the Antichrist. Those chemical trails that you saw from those airplanes, those chemtrails that come from airplanes and jets, they are filling the skies worldwide. Why? Because the 3D holographic lasers will use the built-up chemtrail shields as the movie screens, as they project the laser lights against the chemtrail screens, and voila! You have a spectacular 3D hologram light show in the sky. If there's anybody in the room that understood that, put an 11 up in her. For this is the purpose. The chemtrails are filling up the skies worldwide. A chemtrail shield will reflect the light from the 3D holographic lasers, and the end result was like that spinning wheel you saw at the beginning of that video that had that woman screaming like she was being raped and murdered. She thought the world was coming to an end. Toda. This technology has never existed on this planet before Zion. But it does right now, in this hour. And it will be used to deceive many. And did you Israelites hear the horrific artificial sounds and noises the beast system has created that they can use to scare and frighten the hell out of people? Can you imagine out in your yard doing some yard work and that noise go rattling through your neighborhood? Imagine driving down the highway doing 70 miles an hour and a big demon face leap up in the sky and say, "You, where are you going?" I could see Big Trucker right now looking up at the sky, forgot all about the road, and just running clean the hell off the highway. And don't let that noise be accompanied, them demonic faces lighting up the skies. I'm telling y'all, all manner of chaos and carnage will ensue. Because I'm going to be running red lights like I'm at the Indy 500 trying to get to my guns. And I'm telling y'all right now, even though I'm very well aware that these things are coming, you best prepare yourself for when it actually happens. Now, knowing that you know that these things are coming, Zion, imagine the lost souls who aren't aware of these things. And when they're unleashed, how they're going to be in the grip of fear and likely to do any and everything to escape what they see as possibly imminent death. For these are tools that will be used by adversaries in the days to come. For these sounds that were created in laboratories of the heathens. Sounds of a satanic nature. They're designed to get your attention at the very moment that you hear them. I don't care what you're doing. When them demons sound like they broadcasted right out your window, I guarantee you, you're going to be cutting the TV down. You're going to be cutting the phone down. What's that? Lord, what was that? And it's going to get the whole world's attention because it's designed to. Know these things, Zion. For these demonic sounds will be heard worldwide in the midst of the chaos and will make many people take off low running and panicking. Billions of people will be deceived worldwide. So as we can see, Zion, there are dark forces at work at this very moment, preparing the way for the Antichrist. And once again, I ain't have no problem exposing it for all to see. Some of the things that our spiritual enemies will use in its beast arsenal to help bring the Antichrist to its throne. Because I ain't scared. See, I ain't like that cracker of a cowardly nature, Eric Snowden, to reveal some secrets and take off running like a jackrabbit. And then hiding and trembling over there in Russia, scared to go wherever he want to go. No, I'm going to keep lacing my bootstraps up tight above the ankles and stomp the hell out of wickedness wherever it lays. And know this for a surety. If y'all never heard from Jacob Israel again after this lesson, know I went out with my boots on, giving praise to the Most High, for I refuse to bow down to Hashatan, let alone one of these pink-bootied heathens that's sucking the paps of the devil and doing his bidding. So no, I ain't Eric Snowden taking off running. You know who I am. You know where I'm at. Hell, you follow me 24/7. You human hyenas. For I don't seek the protection of Vladimir Putin, communist Russian ass. I seek the protection of the Most High Yah, the true and living Elohim of my forefathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. So let that be written. And let that be done. Moving right along in our lesson, the book of Revelation revealed, part 3. Now let us pick back up on our study of the book of Revelation with the 17th chapter of Revelation, where we left off. Revelation chapter 17 goes back and fills in some of what has already happened during the tribulation. Chapter 16 actually is when the tribulation is finished, where chapter 17 covers the specifics of when Babylon, the harlot, or the religious Babylon, is destroyed. Ancient Babylon was founded by Nimrod, the man who started Satan worship again on earth after the first world was destroyed by a great flood. It was in ancient Babylon, 20 miles southeast of downtown Baghdad, Iraq, is where Babylon still is. It's in ruins right now. But it was in ancient Babylon where the Babylonian mystery religion was started by Nimrod's mother, Semiramis, whom he married and had a child named Tammuz, who was born on December the 25th. To truly understand the great whore of Revelation chapter 17, you must first understand the origins of the original man-made religion started by Semiramis in ancient Babylon. Do that, and then you will understand that the Babylonian mystery religion is still on this earth today. It's alive and well. When Noah's son, Shem, from whom the Hebrews descended, through Arphaxad, Shem found out that his nephew Nimrod was down in Babylon openly worshiping Satan the devil. So he went to Babylon and killed Nimrod, hacked his body into pieces, and paraded those body parts all around Babylon to let Nimrod's followers know what the penalty for open Satan worship would be, and that it would not be tolerated. And Shem let them know that it was because of evil like this that caused the Most High to destroy the first world with a great flood. Semiramis was pregnant by her son Nimrod when he was killed. And when she gave birth to a son, she named him Tammuz and told her followers the boy was Nimrod reincarnated, born again. Semiramis said that the symbol that Nimrod was reborn again in Tammuz was the evergreen tree. Because the evergreen tree remains the same, whether it's the coldest day of winter or the hottest day of the summer. The evergreen tree looks the same. Semiramis, in her newfound religion, commanded that every year that she and her devoted followers of this new Babylonian mystery religion would celebrate Tammuz's birthday on December the 25th in an elaborate winter pagan festival in which they would deck evergreen trees in silver and gold. Much of the Babylonian worship was carried on through mysterious symbols. Because remember, Satanism went underground. Devil worship, it went underground after Nimrod was publicly executed by Shia. So a lot of this newfound Babylonian mystery religion worship was carried on through mysterious symbols. It was a mystery religion. It was forced to go underground because of how Nimrod was killed for openly worshiping Satan. Since Nimrod was believed to be the sun god, S-U-N, like the sun up in the sky, or Baal, Nimrod was symbolized by sun images. And this is why Semiramis and her followers in ancient Babylon would put shiny, reflecting bulbs that glittered and shined. And if you shined a light or a candle on them, it would look like the sun. For those shiny bulbs that were hung on the evergreen tree was a symbol for Nimrod, the sun god, on their evergreen trees during their winter pagan festivals, celebrating Tammuz's birth on December the 25th. Does this sound familiar to you Hebrews? The tradition of putting up evergreen trees and celebrating a birthday on December the 25th and decking it with silver and gold and hanging shiny bulbs representing the sun continues to this day under the name of Christmas. For unto this hour, many deceived Christians, including some of y'all's own personal family members, think they are celebrating Yeshua's birth on December the 25th in error. And they continue a pagan practice that started long ago in ancient Babylon. If y'all still got loved ones, not strangers and associates you know, if you still got loved ones participating in the ancient pagan winter festival, which traces all the way back to ancient Babylon, put a 9 up in here if you still got family members caught up under that spell. Because I know I ain't the only one. For these stiff-necked Hebrews will outdo the heathen in their Christmas celebrations. Negroes go broke at the end of every year, running to these stores, spending up all their money, and as soon as the calendar turn over and them credit card bills start coming in the mail, they depressed and whining like I don't know what. Toda, I know I wasn't the only one. Toda. Negroes getting up, running head first into these stores and getting trampled and trampling one another. Unclean spirits are unleashed this time of the year for the pagan day. It's Hebrews that's normally calm all year long. But when the calendar flip over to December and they money a little short, and they woman looking at them with the monkey mouth like, you ain't got no Christmas presents to put up under them tables for them babies. Oh, it's some trouble. It's some trouble. No, ain't gonna be no hugging and kissing and snuggling long as that tree looking empty as a hobo's teeth. It's gonna be some trouble. Ain't gonna be no good home-cooked meals during the month of December. Unless you cracking and doing like they friends are being done. For these sisters to holler he went to Jared's to one another and inflame the one who's sitting up their fingers naked. Have her mad as the devil. They be flashing their little ring. Oh, yeah, he went to Jared, my man. And that one just sitting there looking like a monkey around the mouth. Can't wait to get home and cuss her man out. They went to Jared's. You can't even get me not a Cracker Jack box. All of kids looking at you under-eyed and sideways. They want an Xbox. All you can give them is an empty shoebox. It's going to be some trouble. So with all that pressure on that man, what do this law-abiding citizen do? He reached down in that sock drawer, get that pistol, and put that ski mask on. And for what? Because he's whipped down by an unclean spirit of a demonic nature to participate in a winter pagan festival. I hope I'm making sense to somebody out there. Because there's some brothers out there getting locked up right now for armed robbery. And the police like, man, you got a little piece of a job. Why you out here doing this? Man, because my woman won't make love to me. My babies won't say nothing to me. The dog bit me. And I'm tired of eating cold hot dogs. I need some money for Christmas. I profess to y'all don't know how lucky y'all are. That y'all came into the truth. And y'all have been delivered from that kind of madness. Ain't no pressure on no Hebrew Israelite when the calendar turned over to December the 1st. Why? Because we ain't caught up in that madness. If you glad you ain't caught up in that madness, put a hallelujah 1,000 up in her. Hell, let me put one up in her. Because I'm so glad I ain't caught up in it. And I ain't been caught up in it going over 3 decades. So die. So yeah, that should sound familiar. That winter pagan festival. Because it's taking place right now. It's called Christmas. Which ain't got nothing to do with the birth of the Son of the Most High Yah. It wasn't Yeshua who was born on December the 25th. Just do a little research and you'll see that it was Tammuz down in ancient Babylon who was born on December the 25th. And this pagan ritual was done for centuries before Yeshua was born of a virgin in the springtime in Bethlehem in Judea. Hallelujah. Let us continue. Make me lose my spot up in her. Now check this. Deceived Christians really think that they are celebrating Yeshua's birth on that day in error. And they continue this pagan practice that started long ago in Babylon. Now Semiramis demanded that her followers not only worship Nimrod, but also her and her son Tammuz as well. And thus began the concept of mother and child worship. When ancient Babylon fell, the mystery religion of mother and child worship went down into Egypt, where Semiramis became known as Isis, and Tammuz became known as Horus. So right now in the museums, they still have ancient relics out of Babylon showing the mother and child worship that went on in Babylon, statues of Semiramis and Tammuz. They also got ancient relics when the religion went down into Egypt. When Semiramis became known as Isis, and some of y'all are old enough to remember when you were a child, used to be a cartoon came on Saturday morning. Almighty Isis. So they was pumping our heads full of this, even as children, with cartoons and the like. You can find statues in Cairo, Egypt, of Isis and Horus, the mother and child holding a child. For the mother and child, pagan practice of worship fell down into Egypt after Babylon fell. After Egypt fell, the Babylonian mystery religion went down into Rome. And after the Romans converted to Christianity, where they kept many of their pagan practices and merged it with portions of our holy manuscript while proclaiming to accept our Messiah as their Savior, a mixture. They simply replaced Semiramis and Tammuz with Mary and the baby Jesus. And the concept of mother and child worship continues to this day under the name of Roman Catholicism. For hell, most of these Catholics, they worship Mary more than they do anybody. Rattling beads and thinking she's holy and this and that. They done lost their minds. And then when you break them off clean and proper and let them know that ain't nothing but that old soup warmed over that came out of ancient Babylon, they look at you like you crazy. Well, I'm going to keep being crazy and shouting this truth out from the rooftops. For all they did was simply replace Semiramis and Tammuz with Mary and the baby Jesus. And the man-made concept of mother and child worship continues to this day. It was Semiramis who started with the nuns. She called them Vestal virgins. She used them in the sexual fertility rites that were practiced in the ancient Babylonian religion. And those sexual fertility rites, we call them down here in the ghetto orgies. Buck naked orgies, because that's all they was. Wickedness! And these nuns of the Catholic Church, they are patterned after the Vestal virgins out of ancient Babylon. The Catholic priests that ain't faggots and like little boys, the ones that like women, the women that they have their way with is the nuns. They still have group orgies just like they did down in ancient Babylon. Nuns walking around like they got on 20 garters and chastity belts. They as naked up under them black robes as them freaky priests is. And can't wait till it's some time for them ceremonies to take place. Them free-for-alls they be having. Wickedness personified. And it came straight out of ancient Babylon. As I indicated, because the Babylonian mystery religion is still being carried on by the Roman Catholic Church, with their blatant worshiping of the Virgin Mary, who in reality is Semiramis. With this understood, you Hebrews, we can now read Revelation chapter 17 and get a full understanding of it. For chapter 17 of the book of Revelation describes the coming judgment of Yah on the religious system that has enslaved mankind in superstitions and darkness for centuries. Let's go to the book of Revelation, chapter 17, and start with verse 1. In Revelation, the 17th chapter, verse 1, we read, "And there came one of the seven angels, which had the seven vials, and talked with me, saying unto me, Come hither, I will show unto thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters, with whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication, and the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of her fornication. So he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness, and I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet-colored beast, full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns. And the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color, and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand, full of abominations and filthiness of her fornication. And upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery, Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth. And I saw the woman drunken with the blood of the saints and with the blood of the martyrs of Yeshua. And when I saw her, I wondered with great admiration. Stop! Mystery Babylon the Great. This whore represents the Roman Catholic Church, which still carries on the traditions of old of the Babylonian mystery religion. The beast that this whore is riding upon is the beast system that has been set up from which she gets her power. If there's anybody in the room that understood what I just said, put an 88 up in her. Mystery Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth. That whore is the Roman Catholic Church. And what is the colors that the high priests and cardinals wore? The very colors mentioned in this book. Todah Rabbah. I knew somebody would understand this. For purple and scarlet is the colors that you see at the assemblies in the Vatican of the hierarchy of the Roman Catholic Church. And in verse 6 it says, and I saw the woman drunken with the blood of the saints. How? It was the Romans who were shedding Hebrew blood in Judea when the Messiah was giving his discourse on the Mount of Olives. It was the Romans who were the executioners of the Lion of the tribe of Yehudah when they crucified him. And it was the Romans who threw many a Hebrew into the arena to be torn apart by wild animals. for their entertainment. And it was the Pope of Rome who gave the edict to mankind to go out and make money off Hebrew slaves. Make all the money that you can. Those edicts came straight out of Rome. Straight out of this great whore that rode atop this beast. I can't make it no plainer than that, Zion. Continuing with verse 7, we read, "And the angel said unto me, Wherefore didst thou marvel? I will tell thee the mystery of the woman, and of the beast that carrieth her, which hath the 7 heads and 10 horns. The beast that thou sawest was, and is not, and shall ascend out of the bottomless pit, and go into perdition. And they that dwell on the earth shall wonder, whose names were not written in the book of life from the foundation of the world, when they behold the beast that was, and is not, and yet is. And her is the mind which hath wisdom. The 7 heads are 7 mountains on which the woman sitteth." Stop! Rome sits upon 7 hills, which is the headquarters of the whore that sitteth upon many waters. The waters represent people. Roman Catholicism is spread out over the 4 corners of the earth. For she indeed in these latter times is spread throughout the entire world. The 7 heads are 7 mountains on which the woman sitteth. Verse 10. "And there are 7 kings. 5 are fallen, and 1 is, and the other is not yet come. And when he cometh, he must continue a short space." Going back to the image that Nebuchadnezzar saw, that Daniel interpreted, those kingdoms represents these kings. 5 are fallen, and the other is not yet come. The 5 of the fallen are the world-ruling Gentile empires that have gone past. The one that is are those 10 toes that's on this earth right now. And the other king that's yet to come is the Antichrist himself, who when he comes, he must continue with a short space. And the beast that was, verse 11, and is not, even he is the 8th, and is of the 7th, and goeth into perdition. And the 10 horns which thou sawest are 10 kings, which have received no kingdom as yet, but receive power as kings 1 hour with the beast. The original 10 European common market nations that originally set up the European community are represented by those 10 horns. There are more right now than 10 nations in the EU, but only the original 10 charter members will have power in their hour with the beast. and they're going to give their mind and soul to receive power as kings for 1 hour with the beast. Verse 13, these have one mind, and shall give their power and strength unto the beast. These shall make war with the Lamb, and the Lamb shall overcome them. But he is Master of masters and King of kings, and they that are with him are called and chosen and faithful. So if you down with the king, and no, I'm not talking about Rodney King, Martin Luther King, or all the kings of Africa. I'm talking about the King of Kings, Yahushua HaMashiach, the Holy Lamb of the Most High Yah. If you down with the King, you too will be called and chosen and faithful. Hallelujah. Verse 15. And he saith unto me, the waters which thou sawest, where the whore sitteth, are peoples and multitudes and nations and tongues. And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore. Stop! Here is wisdom. Those 10 nations gonna rise up in mutiny against the religious system that is in power. And not only that, not only will they hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. Let me read verse 16 again. And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. For Yah hath put in their hearts to fulfill his will, and to agree, and give their kingdom unto the beast, until the words of the Most High shall be fulfilled. And the woman which thou sawest is that great city which reigneth over the kings of the earth, Rome, where the whore sitteth upon those 7 mountains. If there's anybody in this room that understood Revelation chapter 17 as explained, please simply give your brother Jacob a 7 up in the room. Please. For it's not hard, given the background of knowing who ancient Babylon was and the Babylonian mystery religion that originated there was, and to understand that it's still on this earth today. And when we see world leaders still going to Rome and bowing down and kissing the ring of the leader of the Roman Catholic Church, even in this hour, it should be self-evident. It should be plain and easy to be understood. Torah Rabbah Zion. Continuing. No system in the world's history has enslaved more people than this awful man-made religion. Since the woman who rides the beast gets her authority from the beast, the Holy Spirit uses this description in the book of Revelation to show how religious Babylon and governmental Babylon are intertwined by having this whore ride atop the beast. However, religious Babylon and governmental Babylon are destroyed at different times. Here is wisdom. The great whore, which is religious Babylon, is destroyed by the 10 horns who hate the whore and kill her. The Roman Catholic Church will be destroyed at the direction of the Antichrist, so that he and only he is worshipped when he declares himself God. There will be no more mother and child worship on this earth. Babylon mystery religion got to go along with every other man-made religion, because the Antichrist must clear the deck. There's the only thing left standing is him standing there. He wants to be the only one and only thing that is worship. Does that make sense to you Hebrews? Yisrael? Do you see now why the Antichrist will talk those 10 kings into helping him destroy who he was previously in bed with? The great whore. Let her ride upon his beast system till he didn't need her no more. So she must be destroyed before that ceremony takes place in the rebuilt temple in Jerusalem. And it all becomes clear as crystal, coming into focus as we see these events draw ever closer at hand. Again, I state, the Roman Catholic Church will be destroyed at the direction of the Antichrist, so that he and only he is worshipped when he declares himself God. Because remember, you Hebrews, the Antichrist must and will eliminate the worship of any and all things during his 3.5-year reign of terror, including the centuries-old pagan practice of mother and child worship. If you understand that, you can truly understand Revelation chapter 17. With Mystery Babylon, the mother of harlots, out the way, this clears the way for the Antichrist to fulfill the lifetime dream of Hashatan to get people to worship him. In Revelation chapter 18, commercial and political Babylon is now in view. The destruction of the commercial and governmental systems will not take place until the end of the tribulation period. Mystery Babylon, the mother of harlots, will be destroyed by the 10 kings of the earth of Revelation 17 in the middle of the tribulation period, right before the ceremony takes place in Holy Jerusalem in the rebuilt temple. The Babylon of chapter 18 will be destroyed by the judgments of Yah, whereas the whore of Revelation 17 was destroyed by the 10 kings who secretly hated her, made her desolate and naked, and ate her flesh and burned her with fire. We will make that distinction plainly known in our next and final installment of Revelation Revealed, Part 4, where we'll close out with chapters 18 through 22. So there you have it. That's our lesson for this Shabbat. I could
Oh.